It was a modern marvel, nestled in a quiet cul-de-sac, whitewashed walls, glass railings, a minimalist paradise. Ling, a 34-year-old criminal lawyer known for her fierce intellect and unswerving dedication to justice, had finally purchased her dream home. She had inspected every corner before moving in, or so she thought. Capital Lucas, a wiry man with calloused hands and a quiet disposition, knelt by the large cabinet. "Ma, the baseboard is warped," he said, squinting behind his dusty goggles. Ling barely looked up from a stack of legal papers. "Fix it. Take it down if you need to." Lucas nodded and began unbolting the wood. But as the cabinet groaned and came loose, something unexpected appeared. A metal edge. A door. They exchanged a wary glance before pulling the heavy structure aside. A narrow entrance yawned open. Dust, cold air, and silence. "Is this part of the blueprint?" Lucas asked. Ling's heart thawed. No. They retrieved flashlights and descended cautiously. The narrow stairs led to a concealed underground apartment. Concrete floors, industrial shelving, locked mental cases, dust-covered crates. Ling moved like a cat through the room, scanning a beam of light across labels. NAC 231, ANS 92, seemed ledger. A mental drawer stuck out slightly from an antique desk. Ling pulled it open and froze. Documents, IDs, foreign bank statements, names, all bearing the alias Aputoto. She swallowed hard. Aputoto. The name whispered in legal corridors like folklore. A caretaking pin, still at large. Ling spread the documents across her desk. The evidence was overwhelming. Smuggling routes, payment logs, blackmail schemes, and yet no trace of these properties' existence in any official file. The government had missed it or buried it. Her phone buzzed. Unknown number. She stared at it before picking up the message. "We notice that you have found the hidden apartment. Know that you are now part of the cliques of the known criminal, Aputoto. If you love your life, keep silent about the matter. You have 3 weeks to call this number for an official agreement." Her blood ran cold. Ling didn't sleep. A lawyer's brain raced. The government had lied. She was being watched. The capital knew. She summoned Lucas the next morning. "I'm trusting you with my life," she said, locking eyes with him. "What you saw down there can get us both killed." Lucas nodded nervously. "Ma, I swear, I tell no one. But we must go to police." "Yet?" She shook her head. "No, not yet. We don't know who to trust." Over the next week, Ling played a dangerous double game. She analyzed the documents with forensic precision, names of corrupt officers, bribed customs agents, encrypted code she suspected tied to drug drops. She placed a bug detector in her home and found two hidden cameras, one in the underground room, the other in a living room mirror. Someone was watching constantly. Ling met with Justice Tijani, a retired judge known for his integrity. I need your help, but off the record, she said. He raised a brow. I think I bought a crime scene. Ling installed a hidden camera of her own, cleverly disguised behind a rusted wall socket. She and Lucas staged a fake panic scene, pretending to argue about reporting the matter. She was baiting whoever was watching. The next day, another message arrived. You're smarter than most. Don't overplay it. You have 11 days. They will come for you. Ling, in a wig and glasses, entered the Federal Anti-Crime Bureau. She didn't give her name. She asked to meet Agent Nanji, the only officer in the network she had once trusted. There's an old house you missed, she said without revealing too much. And your suspect, Apotato, he's been closer than you think. She handed him a flash drive. If I disappear, open it. Then she walked out. Day 20, and names were still. Lucas was sleeping at a friend's house now for safety. She dialed the number. Good, a distorted voice answered. We'll send a man to you. He'll brief you on how to protect yourself from government exposure and what you must do next. Ling replied calmly. Understood. She hit record on her second phone. Ling arrived early. A man in a tailored suit appeared, face hidden behind sunglasses. You will launder funds for us. Help secure a court settlement in a case tied to our operation. In return, your life continues. And if I refuse, she asked. He smiled. You won't. But he never saw the camera hidden in Ling's purse, or that Lucas, wired and ready, was watching from the hotel bar with Agent Unaji. It was a sting. Flashing lights, armed men, evidence trucks. Undercover agents stormed the underground apartment. Aputato's files, the secret stash, the cameras, all seized. The government spokesperson spoke to reporters. Thanks to an anonymous whistleblower, we've uncovered the final stronghold of Aputato's empire. An arrest has been made in connection with the financial wing of his syndicates. Ling watched the news. Her name was never mentioned, but her phone buzzed once more. A new number. You may have won this battle, but you've entered our war. She smiled. Then I'm ready for trial. The morning air was tense. Ling sat in her sleek office, eyes scanning case files, ears tuned to every creak in the hallway. The raid had made the news. The flash drive she provided had helped shut down a key segment of Apotato's syndicate. But the war had just begun. Her office phone buzzed. Ma'am, there's someone here asking for you. He didn't give a name. Ling's spine straightened. Send him in and lock the door behind him. The man who walked in wore a grey suit and polished smile. Too clean, too calculated. And from the Office of Real Estate Oversight, he began, flashing a forged-looking ID. Just a routine follow-up about your property purchase. Routine? Days after a major criminal bust involving that very property? Ling folded her hands. Do your worst. But I record all interviews. The man grinned, but his eyes narrowed. You're smarter than I expected, but being smart won't keep you alive. He turned and walked away. Ling met with Agent Naji under low light and whispered, I don't trust your agency anymore, she said. That man wasn't just a scammer. He was testing me, maybe even sending a message. Onaji leaned in. You were right not to name yourself in the report. The bust embarrassed high-ranking officials. There are whispers. Some of the names in Apotato's document belong to people still in power. He slid a small folder across the table. Inside were photos of Ling taken within the last 48 hours. You're being followed. The moment she entered, Ling noticed something was off. Her mug was in the wrong place. A drawer was slightly open. She drew her licensed pistol and checked every room. The place was empty, but the message had already been sent. Her phone buzzed again. Look at number. Ling, it's me. They took me. I'm okay for now, but I want you to stop. Please don't tell anyone. I'll be fine. The line went dead. Using encrypted systems, Ling dug deeper into the document she had copied before the raid. The name G. Ekanem kept appearing. A federal judge currently active in charge of anti-corruption cases. A match appeared. J. Ekanem had signed off on the sale of her property. She sat back, stunned. You sold me the crime scene to bury it. Now she had a name, but confronted a judge? That was suicide. Disguised as a paralegal, Ling slipped into Judge Ekanem's chambers. The judge was on a call, but Ling recorded the tail end from behind the door. We shorter than her lead, but she's still digging. Find the carpenter. If we break him, we break her. She vanished before she could be seen. The night he had moved Ling to a secure location, but Lucas' location was still unknown. And worse, her license to practice law was now under review. She had been reported for tampering with criminal evidence. Ling knew what this was. They were trying to silence her legally, socially, and professionally. She sat before a camera wearing black. If this video is playing, it means I've either disappeared or they've destroyed my credibility. But you need to know the truth. Judge Ekanem, the Ministry of Housing, Apotato's network didn't just exist in shadows. It was founded and protected by high seats of justice. She uploaded the encrypted file to 5 international journalist networks. Then she made one final move. Ling showed up unannounced at the university she once lectured at. Dozens of students watched her walk in, bruised, cautious, bold. She took the mic and began speaking not about law, but about truth, power, and fear. And cameras recorded. Across the country, the video began going viral. They thought I'd run. They thought I'd hide. But I wouldn't stop until the termites inside the system are exposed. George Ekanem watched the video, face tight with fury. Get me the location of the carpenter, now. Lucas' eyes fluttered. open to the sound of dripping water and distant echoes. Heavy chains clinked as he moved in the shadows. His hands, once steady with capital tools, now trembled with cold fear. A single flickering light illuminated his battered face, revealing deep lines of worry. A rough voice echoed through the darkness. Lucas, you know why you're here. A figure stepped forward, tall, imposing, with his scar slashing across his jaw. It was Officer Madu, a man whose loyalty had long since teetered toward the underworld. Please, Lucas whispered, voice cracking. I just followed Ling. I never wanted any part of this. Madu's eyes narrowed. Silence won't save you, Capita. George Kanem demanded answers, and if you don't cooperate, that silence will be your final sentence. Across the city, Ling's viral lecture continued to rock the nation. News anchors repeated her bold words, and protests erupted outside government buildings. But behind the scenes, the mysterious network was tightening its grip. Ling's revelations had shattered illusions, and now the full minds of the corrupt was mobilizing. Ling's secure phone buzzed. The encrypted message from Agent Unaji. Lucas' location confirmed. We believe they've been taken to a warehouse in the industrial district. Be cautious. If he speaks, it could dismantle our entire case. Ling's resolve hardened. Every move she made was a delicate dance with danger. The silence of the capital was now a key piece in the puzzle she was determined to solve. Under a single lamp, Ling pored over the evidence spread out before her. Documents, photos, and intercepted communications painted a sinister picture of a network that extended deep into the halls of power. With trembling determination, she opened a secure video conference with Agent Unaji. Agent Unaji, Ling said quietly, if Lucas is our only witness, we must get him out safely and get his testimony. This man holds the truth about George Ekanem, but is being co-opted with fear. A pause filled the line before Unaji responded. I have a team ready to mobilize. However, extraction in the industrial district, especially from a place controlled by Madu's men, is going to be a high-stakes operation. Ling's eyes burned with determination. I'm not leaving Lucas behind. We need every piece of this puzzle to expose the corruption. Meet me at the warehouse in 1 hour. I'll be there personally. Ling's car pulled up silently in the dark parking lot. She slipped out in tactical care, a mix of legal acumen and street smarts honed over years in the courtroom. The warehouse loomed ahead, its broken windows and graffiti at stark contrast to the polished world of justice she once knew. Inside the warehouse, she crept along corridors lined with rusted machinery. Shadows danced as whispers of distant footsteps echoed. Suddenly, a scuffle resounded from a back chamber. Ling's heart pounded as she moved swiftly toward the sound. Lucas sat handcuffed to a mental pipe, his eyes wide with fear and resignation. Across from him stood Madu and two grim-looking enforcers. One of them brandished a stun gun. Lucas, you're not leaving here unless you cooperate, Madu hissed. You will tell us everything about Ling's plan. And trust me, it will be a painful process if you keep silent. At that moment, the sound of rapid footsteps shattered the tense silence. The door burst open and Agent Onaji, flanked by a tactical team, stormed in. Freeze! Onaji commanded, his voice booming over the din of chaos. And forces lunged, but were quickly subdued by the skilled operatives. Ling rushed to look outside, silently unlocking his cuffs. "I'm here," she murmured, her voice both soothing and resolute. Maru's eyes darted around. He smirked defiantly even as he realized the tide had turned. "This isn't over, Ling. You've made enough fears that far exceed your understanding." Ling's gaze hardened. Maybe, but truth has a way of exposing even the darkest corners. Today, your silence and my confidence will speak volumes to the world. As the room was secured and handcuffs were exchanged, Ling recorded a final statement on her phone, capturing every moment of the rescue. Lucas, though shaken, managed a silent nod. His silence had been coerced long enough. Now it would be filled with a truth that would send shockwaves through the corridors of power. Under intense media scrutiny and nationwide demand for justice, Judge Ekanem was brought in for questioning. With Lucas' testimony, backed by the mountain of evidence Ling had meticulously compiled, the corrupt network began to crumble. High-ranking officials were implicated, and the trial became a national landmark in the fight against systemic corruption. Ling sat in the gallery, quiet, resolute, and finally vindicated by her relentless pursuit of truth. The case was far from over, but one thing was certain: the silence forced upon Lucas had been shattered, and with it, the power of those who tried to bury the truth. As the sun broke over the horizon, Ling stood on a balcony overlooking the city, her heart heavy with the cost of the struggle, yet buoyed by a newfound hope, whispered a promise to herself and to the silent heroes like Lucas. Justice would not be confined to the shadows. The courtroom was packed. Cameras lined the back wall. Journalists scribbled frantically. The nation watched as Judge Gabriel Ekanem, once hailed as a pillar of the judiciary, sat stiffly in the defendant's box, his face pale under the harsh fluorescent lights. Ling sat behind the prosecution bench, not as a prosecutor, but as the woman whose courage triggered it all. Next to her was Lucas, now under federal protection, his nervous eyes glancing occasionally at the crowd. The prosecutor rose. "Your Honor, we submit into evidence the recorded confession of Officer Madu, testimony from witness Lucas, and the financial trail traced through multiple companies, signed and authorized by Judge Gabriel Ekanem." Gasps rippled through the courtroom. While the courtroom thundered, agents behind closed doors connected dots Ling had uncovered. Her leaked video had done more than ignite public outrage. It forced internal audits and judicial deep dives into the criminal network known as the Apututo Syndicate. Dozens of files emerged: military supply diversions, political campaign laundering, compromised court rulings, and now something bigger. Apututo himself was reportedly alive and operating under a new identity abroad. Ling had returned to her house. It had been cleaned, secured, and scrubbed of every surveillance device. Still, every creak unsettled her. She poured tea in silence and opened her laptop. A new email pinged. No subject, no sender. Inside was a video clip. Footage from a foreign airport. A tall man in a suit walks across the terminal, his face partially hidden, but unmistakably the man from one of Aputo's smuggling fights. Ling's hand froze. Aputo, alive. And then a message beneath the clip. Justice has local limits, but evil travels. You shook a tree whose roots stretch across borders. Now let's see how deep you're willing to go. Standing before national media, the Minister of Justice announced sweeping reforms. In light of the revelations provided by Ms. Ling and supported by law enforcement, the government has created a joint special task force to root out transnational criminal syndicates. But not just cleaning house. We're burning the rot to the roots. Ling watched silently from the back, but as she stepped into the corridor, a man in a dark coat brushed past her, slipping a small card into her coat pocket. She paused, checked it. A name, a number, a country. Vamari, where the real Apotato lives free. That night, Ling sat with Lucas, Agent Onachi, and a quiet fire burning. Lucas sipped his tea. You think it's really him, alive? Onachi nodded grimly. The name Vamara shows up often in trafficking routes. It's a safe haven for ex-warlord. If he's there, he's protected. Lung stood slowly, holding the card. He tried to silence us, then threatened me with distance. Now he dares me with truth. Lucas looked up, alarmed. She said, the floorboards of this country shook, but the foundation is global. I'm not chasing him for revenge. I'm chasing him because if we don't, someone else will buy another house, another trap, and never live to tell the story. Nigeria said, then we take the fight overseas. Ling nodded. Luggage rolled, papers checked, security cleared. Ling stood in line with a passport, eyes steady, breath calm. Behind her, Lucas carried a small bag. Ahead, Onaji made silent calls to international contacts. As they boarded the plane to Valmera, a new chapter began, one that would take them to a foreign land ruled by fear, protected by power, and haunted by the fear of a man who was never supposed to be alive. A man stood in lavish suites, staring out the window at the city below. His phone rang. He answered with a grin. Ah, so the lawyer is coming? He turned slowly, revealing the scarred, unmistakable face of Aputo. She thinks she's chasing justice, but what she's walking into is war. The air in Valmera was thick, part humidity, part tension. Neon signs flickered over checkpoints, and military trucks rode past like silent warnings. Here, power didn't whisper, it marched. Ling stepped out of the terminal. A dark scarf draped over her hair, her eyes scanning every shadow. Beside her, Lucas moved cautiously, clutching his backpack. Agent Onachi, now operating under the alias Mr. Solomon, hailed a black SUV from a discreet contact. From this point, Onachi whispered, we don't exist. They arrived at a rundown apartment tucked between two karaoke bars in the district called Red Palm, and famous for illegal trading and police immunity. Onachi spread a map across the table. According to our intel, Apotato operates under the alias Dr. Felix Undama, a philanthropist and logistics magnate. But the real business happens underground behind his charities warehouse in the northern quarters. Ling scanned the layout so we can walk in through the front door or need access through one of the supply routes. Lucas looked uneasy. What if we've been watched already? Ling met his eyes. We're in a city that says silent, so we speak in whispers and move like smoke. Abutoto stood before a wall of children's photographs. Behind him, and men in civilian clothing waited quietly. An assistant walked in and handed him a tablet. On the screen was Ling's arrival footage from the airport, grilling but unmistakable. Abutoto's joy tensed. She came here willingly, brave or foolish. He turned to one of his men. Find her, track her, but don't kill her yet. Ling and Onaji moved through crowded stores, pausing as NGO officials. Hidden beneath Ling's loose robe was a body camera, and in a bag, encrypted recording gear. They approached a woman, Amara, once a customs officer, now a market trader, after speaking out against Apotato years ago. You're crazy to come here, Amara whispered, her eyes darting. People disappear for asking questions, let alone planning attacks. Ling showed her one of the smuggling documents. This route, it connects directly to the port, doesn't it? Amara hesitated. Yes, under the Foundation's warehouse, but the place is wired with guards and motion sensors. You won't get within 100 meters. We don't need to get in, Onaji said. We just need to see what's coming out. Lucas was combing through intercepted local communications. Suddenly, he froze. Ling, come look. He played a garbled audio. Hidden in the static was a name, Oba Tane. Lucas looked up. It's a coded phrase in their logistic frequency. I think it's the hidden channel they use to transport high-risk cargo out of the city. Ling's eyes narrowed. Then that's our key. They would go underground. Dressed in utility gear and guided by Amara's map, the trio slipped into the maze of sewage, tunnels beneath Vamara. Rats scurried. The stench was unbearable. But above them, Apototo's empire passed. After hours of crawling, they reached a grated hatch. Beyond it, light machinery and men loading weapons into wooden crates marked medical aid. Ling whispered into her mic, This is it. This is the real face of the Foundation. Lucas' hands trembled as he held the camera steady. Steadily, a noise behind them. Footsteps, fast, aggressive. They had been followed. Gunfire echoed through the tunnel. Shouts in Vamarian dialect followed. Ling grabbed Lucas, and Onaji fired suppressing shot as they fled down a side tunnel. They emerged near the docks, muddy, wet, and gasping. But they still had the footage. Ling had the video files to Musa Diallo, a rogue investigative journalist with ties to international media. He watched in stunned silence. This is gold. I want it broadcasted. Now, internationally, Ling said. Musa nodded. It'll cost you, but it will also burn every bridge you ever walked on in this city. Ling didn't blink. Let them burn. Apotato stared at the television screen. Footage of his warehouse, crates of weapons, his face blurred but present. The world now knew. His fist slammed into the glass table. Enough! If she won't disappear, she'll be erased. He picked up a red phone. Activate Night Fire Protocol. Burn the warehouse and find everyone she'd spoken to. I want their ashes blowing in the streets of Red Palm by sunrise. Musa's office ransacked. He escapes through a basement exit. Amara watches her store go up in flames. She disappears into the crowd. Lucas wakes up to find a knife stabbed into the wall with a note. Run. Ling looks out over the city from a rooftop, jaw set. She whispers, it's no longer justice I'm chasing, it's survival and retribution. The streets burned, smoke curled from alleys. Sirens were drowned by screams. Valmer was on fire, and it wasn't just random chaos. It was targeted. Every safe house, every rebel contact, every whistleblower Ling had made was under attack. Night fire protocol had been activated. Ling stood frozen, watching flames engulf a building across the street. Her encrypted phone buzzed frantically. Agent Unaji's voice was tense. Mosa's gone on the ground. Amara's store was touched, but she escaped. Lucas hasn't checked in. Ling, we're being hunted. She grabbed her gear. Where was Lucas last seen? Where her sector? He was retrieving backup footage. Link's jaw tightened. He went back, alone. Lucas crashed inside the ruins of the burned-down foundation warehouse. Blackened crates, mended plastic, and scorched steel surrounded him. But he wasn't looking for weapons. He was looking for proof that Apotato had orchestrated the fire. He found it, a scorched but salvageable body cam from one of the guards, caught in the blast. He pried it out and slipped it into his pocket. Then footsteps. He ducked just in time. A bullet cracked through the burned grates. They found him. Apotato watched a map of the city on a holographic screen. Red dots flashed. Burned sites, completed raids. An aide stepped in, the girl still alive, and the carpenter slid through her hands. Apotato sipped his drink. They think this is about information. They don't realize it's about fear. If I let one voice leave, it will become a chorus. He turned toward the window, where the skyline burned. Send the dogs. I want her brought to me, alive. Ling reunited with Naji in a dusty tenement where safe house survivors were gathering. Among them, Amara, limping, bruised. She handed Ling a piece of cloth torn from a guard's uniform. On it was stitched a strange symbol, a red serpent entwined in a crown. Ling's eyes narrowed. That's not just a gang symbol. That's political, tribal, old Valmerian military. Amara nodded. You're not just fighting a potato. You're fighting his bloodline, the group that placed him in power. They ruled from the shadows for 2 decades. Nadia added grimly, the Red Crown were always suspected but never had proof until now. Lucas finally made it to the hidden rebel clinic. Weak from a bullet graze, he handed the guard's camera to Ling. Footage shows them lighting the warehouse. Others came from the top. Ling plunged it into her laptop. The image was grainy, but the voice was clear. Burn it on orders of Felix Ndamba. No survivors. Apotato's alliance exposed. She turned to Najin. This is it, but this will tie him to war crimes, arson, murder, corruption, and make it impossible for any embassy to hide him. Najin nodded. But he will never go down quietly, not while he walks free. Ling said slowly. Then I go to him. Using an abandoned construction tunnel, Ling and Onaji breached the basement of the luxury hotel where Apotato lived like a king. Lucas stayed back with Amara to broadcast the video across networks. The signal was ready. It would go live the moment Ling said the code word. In the penthouse, Ling and Onaje bypassed security systems, courtesy of a bribed technician. The hallway to Apothetos' private elevator was dark. Ling paused. This isn't just evidence anymore, she whispered. It's personal. They burst in, guns drawn. Apothetos stood by the window, calm, sipping wine. Ah, the brave lawyer. Did you come to arrest me or to beg for your life? Ling stepped forward. Neither. I came to end your reign. He laughed. Your video won't reach anyone. I've shut down every station. She smiled faintly. You shut down Vamara. But the world is still watching. She tapped her earpiece. Code word. Smoke. Lucas hit send. The footage streamed across the globe. Africa, Europe, America. It went viral within minutes. Apothetos' smile vanished. His phone buzzed, notification flooding in. His face twisted. You think this ends me? I have countries in my pocket. Ling raised a pistol. Not anymore. But Apothetos lunged for a panic button. Najim fired first. A shot to the leg. Apothetos crumbled. You'll live, Onaji said. Long enough to face everything you've buried. Sirens wait in the distance. International forces, still by the lake, were moving in. Ling stepped over him. The floorboards hid your crimes. But you forgot. Truth leaks through cracks. Apothetos behind bars. His face plastered on news screens. The red crown exposed. Top officials arrested. Ling testifying before the International Criminal Court. Lucas opening a small woodwork shop in Vamera, renamed Freedom Grain. Amara reinstated into the customs bureau. And Ling standing in front of the same house ship bought months ago, once a trap, now a symbol. She steps inside. The cabinet has been repealed. No more secret, just silence and peace. Ling whispers to herself, I bought a house and found pain beneath it. But now it's my home again.